I'm Laura from Meadowlark Violin, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Tower Strings Entertainer Violin from Fiddler Shop. Now this violin actually exceeded all of my expectations for a beginner entry-level violin, and I'm going to give you all the details about that. But first, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I really appreciate that, and it helps me out a lot. So before I start going into the details with this Tower Strings violin, I want to give you a little bit of background into my experience with beginner level violins. I've been teaching violin for over 10 years and I've been doing a lot of online teaching. And one of the problems I always have is when students come to me with what I call VSOs, violin shaped objects. These are violins bought from these mega stores or even mega music stores for generally under $200. And they're often totally untunable, they're unplayable, and they don't sound very good if you can manage to get them in tune. So the whole reason I even started my website, meadowlarkviolin.com, was to help students find that good beginner entry-level violin. So I've always been on the lookout for what is the cheapest violin out there that actually is a good beginner violin. And I've had experience with all the major beginner brands, Franz Hofmann from Char Music, the Southwest Strings Beginners, the Gligas, the Nillings, and I've come to know what to expect from a beginner entry-level violin. So when I got this violin, the Entertainer, out of its case, I was really shocked. It doesn't look like a beginner violin to me. It has a really beautiful finish. It has these nice mother of pearl inlays on the pegs and the tailpiece down here. That doesn't affect the way it sounds, but it's a really nice touch that has a nice quality feel to it. And when I started playing it, I continued to be amazed because it actually had a great sound, much more than I was expecting for a $250 violin. And I actually continued playing this violin for about an hour. Normally when I'm testing out new violins from students, I play it, I make my opinion, then I put it away and I get out my violin that I enjoy playing. But this one, I played it for literally an hour. I played through all the songs I love and just kind of enjoyed the sound that I was making with this violin. Now before I go into more of the details with this, I want to give you a little bit of a comparison so that you'll see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about all the impressive things with this violin. So this violin is a Nilling, and this was actually my first violin that I ever started playing on back many years ago. And back then it went for about $400 to $600. I don't remember exactly. But I just want you to take a look. The finish, it's kind of orange. It looks like a beginner student violin compared to the Tower Strings, which has a much more professional appearance. It also has this cheap tailpiece where the fine tuners attach to these little metal prongs. This is a cheaper tailpiece as opposed to the Tower Strings violin, which has the strings attaching to the actual tailpiece. This is better in my opinion. The Nilling also has this really cheap chin rest. It doesn't have any height to it. It's not very comfortable. Tower Strings, a much nicer chin rest. It's got some more height, some more contour to it as well. This is a big one. The neck on the Nilling violin, it's thicker. It kind of feels awkward as you're trying to play. The Tower Strings is a much more thinner neck. This feels much better under my hand, much more professional feel. And the same thing, the pegs are just a little clunkier. Everything's just a little clunkier and more student-like with the Nilling. And the Tower Strings just has a much nicer quality feel to it. Now let's talk about bows. This is the bow that came with the Nilling violin, the violin that I had a long time ago. So it's basically like a plastic bow. It's got this rubber grip, a plastic frog, and it's even cracked over the years. And it's just generally heavy and kind of clunky feeling. It gets the job done, but this is what I'm used to with a student bow that comes with an entry-level kit. This is the bow that came with the Tower Strings kit. It's a carbon fiber bow, which is what you want to go for at this price range. carbon fiber is better than wood at this price point. The bow is straight. It's got this nice winding, very well done here, a real leather grip, mother of pearl on the frog here. And it's got a nice feel to it. It's not overly heavy, not overly light, just a right balance to give you a nice, good, smooth tone. Now my violin came with the upgraded Fiddlerman string set and the upgraded Fiddlerman Carbon Fiber Bow. Now I haven't tried the basic package, but this produced such a nice quality and it was really easy to play that I strongly suggest doing these upgrades for the better strings and the better bow. Definitely worth it. It really gives you a lovely quality sound and makes it very easy to play. I am a huge fan of the carbon fiber bows. They're much better than the wooden bows at this price range. And also, I'm really impressed with these Fiddlerman strings. I have tried playing more expensive student violin strings and didn't get the same sound that I got with these Fiddlerman strings. So I think these are definitely worth it as well. So now hopefully you can see where I'm coming from when I'm comparing student violins. So now let's talk a little bit more about the Tower Strings Entertainer violin. Now this retails right now for about $249 from Fiddler Shop, and it comes with the violin, a case, and it comes with a lot of accessories. It comes with a shoulder rest. This is very similar to a Kuhn shoulder rest, which is kind of a standard shoulder rest. It is collapsible, so it can fit in your case. And it's very adjustable. You can adjust these screws right here and adjust the feet. It comes with some rosin, which is nice rosin. I've been using it. It produces a fair amount of dust, which is kind of normal, but it also comes with a nice cloth to wipe it away. It comes with a practice mute, a mini clip tuner, a strap for your violin case, and this beginner's guide, which is nice. So those are the accessories that come with the violin, and of course the bow as well comes with it. Now I'm going to play some open strings and some scales and some songs on this violin so you can hear what it sounds like. So when I'm reviewing student violins or strings, I like to do this unedited. So if it takes me 10 tries to try to get a good start on the bow, that should tell you something about the quality of the violin. I'm also going to play songs that you would actually be playing if you were starting off learning the violin and getting this violin. But at the end, we might kind of play around and see what this violin is really capable of. some fun and see what this violin can really handle. So now let's talk about a couple things that I noticed while playing through on this violin. First of all, it was really easy to tune. It actually came out of the case almost perfectly in tune, which is pretty impressive, but very easy to tune, which is really important. As I was playing through, it definitely has an equality to each of the strings, which is rare with beginning violins. Normally, one string really stands out, it's really metallic, or some of the other strings are really muted, but all of the strings were very equal in sound quality. The G string was pretty lively, which is nice. A lot of times the G string just is kind of got a muted quality to it, and it will also take a lot of weight, which is pretty impressive for a beginner violin. A lot of times when I'm adding a lot of weight, trying to really get a good tone, they just kind of conk out. So a nice G string. The strings have a really sweet sound to me. They have a nice complexity to the tone. They don't sound metallic or beginner-like at all, so a nice set of strings. I also noticed that I get good starts with this bow and this string set. Recently, I was actually trying cheaper strings on my nice violin with my nice bow, and I was having a really hard time just getting a nice clean start. So that's on a good violin with a more expensive bow. So this one, really easy to get nice clean starts. It was also very smooth on the string crossings and the bow changes. Very forgiving, which is rare in a beginner violin. A lot of times these beginner violins kind of highlight your inadequacies, and more expensive violins kind of forgive your inadequacies. But this one was pretty forgiving. It was pretty easy, pretty soft and supple. So for $250, I think that this is actually the best entry-level violin outfit that's on the market right now. It's easy to play, it's ready to play out of the box, and it comes with everything you need. Also, a word about Fiddler Shop. I've worked with them and talked with them. They have really wonderful customer service, which in today's market is a little bit rare. So they really care about their customers. They do have a whole staff of luthiers, and they've told me that when anyone purchases a violin, a luthier looks at that specific violin, tests it, plays it, make sure it's easy to play, make sure it's ready to play. If it's not, they make any adjustments necessary before they ship it out. That is big. That's not something you're going to get when you order a VSO from a mega music store or a mega online store. So it's really important that it is looked over by a professional before it's shipped out. You can read my whole review on this Tower Strings Entertainer violin on my website, meadowlarkviolin.com. And you can also check out a lot of great free violin resources and some free sheet music. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Tower Strings Entertainer violin. I've got all the links down below in the description. And while you're here, you can check out this video or maybe this video. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. That really helps me out. I'm Laura from Meadowlark Violin. Happy practicing.